I don't know if y'all heard this in your head, but when it got to here, I wanted the kick. So I'm going to give myself the kick. Like that is just, oh, filthy. Okay, take 14 and a half. What's up, my fellow sugar cubes? Today we are going to be making a beat with some sounds from my analog lab bank, Granular Colors. You can download it completely for free, link in the description. It's a light version of a pack that I'm working on, but the light version has all the sounds that you see on the screen. So, go check it out. If you're new to the channel, my name is Diet Sugar. I make music. All right, let's get into it. All right, let's just pick a sound. That sounds great. Also really cool. I think I might go with this one. I've got my scale set to F minor, so I'm just going to do basically an ARP of F minor, and then I'm going to go up a fourth. Go down a fourth. And normally that works pretty well, especially for darker sound and stuff, because there's these sort of tension notes that happen. You'll notice if I flip that up, if I invert it, it makes it a little bit more stable. That's cool. There's a little too much happening in the preset right now. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to mess with these macros until I get it sounding good. And then I'm going to filter it. The reason I didn't filter it before is I wanted the full sound so that I could hear what I was doing. That's cool. So let's just loop that. And what I'm thinking for arrangement is like intro, verse, and then verse B. So this will be my B section, and then I'll do a hook here, and then I'll do hook B. A lot of times when I make music, I will start with one layer, and then I'll build out like half of my arrangement with that layer so that I have this big loop to work with. And that keeps me from getting stuck in that 8-bar syndrome, especially if you change these sections up just a little bit. And you don't have to do much. Like, check this out. For this one, I'm just going to stop those notes there. And then once we get to this, I'm going to do it every time instead of only at the end. And it's going to make that part sound way different, but kind of the same, kind of different. You'll see. And then the hook, I'll figure out when I get there. You see what I mean? And then I think for this one, I'm gonna ARP it twice as fast, and I'm gonna do the like third inversion or whatever that is. If you don't know much music theory, just play around. That's my advice. And then slowly over time, if you want to build up a little bit of music theory knowledge whenever it makes sense for you. I don't really know music theory that well. And I feel like that's so busy that I want it to stop every 2 bars. And then for the B section, which I keep overriding the name of, let's add an additional note. So let's add an F just to give it some height. And this is what I mean. You don't really need much. And now I have a much more interesting arrangement to work with, which is going to inform my decisions with things like where my drums are going, when does the bass come in, those kind of things. So now that we have that layer done, let's do one more thing to it. Let's automate this filter over the course of the verse, just a little bit. And then as we get into the hook, let's do a little bit more. And then as we get into that final section of the hook, let's do even more so that we hear those high notes and they're a bit more present. And I think right there, I think what I want is like a pad of some sort. Back to Analog Lab. Let's grab a different sound. I don't think that'll work. That might actually work because that lead is so disrespectful. I think it's got too much low end though, just from listening to it. So I'm gonna roll it off, but I'm not gonna cut it. I'm just gonna shelf it. Like that is just such a good texture. And then I'm gonna route it. I have this template set up with a few aux tracks that are already kind of leveled. Really useful way to just get a rough mix sounding better with less effort. When you go to mix, you tweak it. Sometimes you re-level, but as a starting place, it helps things sit in the right pocket. And I'm gonna add some reverb to it so that it matches that other layer. I think what I'm going to do is this right here so that it kind of accents those chords. And I'm going to do the same thing here so that we get that space still. I don't want to take that away. And see, that's something that when you write in this longer view, you can make those decisions a little bit better. I know that I want that space there because I've already listened to another sound and I've already made that decision. So now I don't have to make it again. For this section, instead of going up, I'm going to go down, so that the dynamics of the frequency content, this is really hard to do because I'm like backwards in my head. I don't think I'm backwards on the screen. I don't really know. It's like looking in a mirror, but the mirror is not where I can see it on the camera. So it's like, I don't know, whatever. We'll cut that. The reason I go down instead of up is I've already got a layer going higher. So you're adding height, which is adding hype kind of, and you're lowering the low notes. So what you're doing is you're creating this like psychoacoustic effect that pulls the sound in two directions, and it just makes that section feel even bigger. Whereas if I went up, it might make the section sound harsh, and I don't want that. These are already harsh sounds. I want another layer. I want this layer to come in on the B section of the verse and then stay for the hook. So I think I'm going to pick this synth drama because that sounds awesome. Let's add some drama. And I'm not going to do the root note because I've already done the root note on the other ones. So I don't really want to stack that note. Let's use B. I'm not using B anywhere. And what that'll do, or B flat, that'll add tension because I'm pretty sure that is like a fourth higher, which is like an unstable move. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cheesy. I may not keep this. I think instead, like a rhythm would be really cool with this sound. That's kind of cool. Let's walk down to the root. And then instead of going down on the second one, let's go up. That sounds terrible at the end. Okay, I was wrong. We're not doing that. We're just not going to do anything there on the second time. Instead of letting it play out like this, what I'm going to do instead is I'm just going to let this be the exit so that when it gets to the B section, it plays once and then it's done. From like a melodic standpoint, I feel like I need a bass still because it's just, I don't know, man. It just doesn't have that fat booty bottom that is the reason why I got into music. So I'm going to go with this super thick bass. I don't want this to happen during the hooks because there's going to be an 808 there. So I am actually going to let it hit here. This is going to be like I already have an idea with the drums. I'm going to do like a delayed start on them. They're going to come in not right away, not right on the one. So instead, I want the drums to start like halfway through the first 8 bars of the drop, if that makes sense. So I'm just drawing in a real simple pattern for that. I kind of want that clap to be louder. And then I'm just adding some extra spice, a little bit of extra sauce, a little extra sauce on the, putting a little paprika on my clap pattern. So that's pretty dope. I don't know if I even want those kicks in the first part because we're going to have an 808 there. So the only thing that I want coming in on the one for that first half of the drop, the A section, is the 808 because I want it to bang. And the easiest way to do that is to just let that be the only thing that's playing. And then for this section, because I want that kick to hit really hard, I'm going to take away the first 808 so that where the kick hits, there's no 808. And I'm only going to do that for the first half of it. For the second half of it, I'm going to leave that in there and I'm going to add a bit of a fill as well so that it feels different. And you know, you can get away with doing stuff like that when you have a really simple melody happening that doesn't really have a lot of odd timing to it. Like these are just eighth notes. So you can kind of go a little bit more wild if you want to go more wild, if that's your thing. Everybody's different. Anyways, let's add some perks. That was an accident and that was kind of cool. And then we could go right back into the bass. But instead of playing the whole verse, I would want this low note. So I also want this section to be a little bit shorter than the first verse. So I'm going to just take everything, paste it, and then get rid of these two. And I'm going to use this more simple half of the clap. Not going to bring the perks in right away, but I'm not going to leave them out the whole time either. And I'm going to add like a rim shot that I'm doing a rhythm on that should accent the clap. I don't know if it's going to fit perfect yet, but we'll see. And then because I'm bringing in the bass, I want the kick to stay. And I just realized this is on F. Let's move that to C. I don't really want to pitch the kick around. I like the way it sounded when it was normal. I really don't want those two overlapping. And I realize I probably have them overlapping here, so let's take a look. And because I already decided that I wanted that there, I'm going to leave it. This is what I'm talking about. Then I'm going to copy and paste the hook. And we're already at almost 2 minutes. So at this point, let's listen to the second verse. I don't love that. That sounds way cooler. But because this is still a B section, I'm going to change the fill at the end to just be on time so that we get back to that same time that the hook is going to be at. And for the second hook, I'm not going to do that drop into it. I'm just going to go right away. Everything going. And I feel like really the only thing that's missing is some rhythm. I don't really want to add many more sounds because it's already kind of busy. So I'm just going to do a hi-hat pattern with the fill right here. Don't like that note. do a little roll like that. And then I kind of want that to repeat like that. That's delicious. I love listening to that. And for the B section, I'm not actually going to change that at all. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add open hats so that it feels a little bit taller, but the rhythm stays the same. That sounds cool. And now I can bring this stuff over. I think I only want that first kick there, so that when it does get back to the hook, it's like really strong. You know, it's just kind of been missing. Okay, let's listen to it. Let's see what we got. So, I don't know if y'all heard this in your head, but when it got to here, I wanted the kick. So I'm going to give myself the kick, and I'm going to make it a little bit crazy so that I fill that space with what I'm craving to hear right now in the moment. And then right here, this is why I use like a simple kick pattern at first, because I want it to just happen when I like am listening to the arrangement and I get that immediate inspiration. I want to go for it then. I don't want to force the kick otherwise, because it's such an important part. It's like I kind of do the 808 a lot of times. I'll do the 808 very similarly. Like that is just, oh, filthy. Like I don't know. Sometimes I do stuff like that and I'm like, I don't know how I did that. Okay, so now that I have that, I have this B section kick and I have this A section kick. For the second A section, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the kick really simple and only have an accent there and there, so that when it does finally get to here, it still feels fresh. I've got it in mono right now so that I can level it as I'm listening. this sound needs to be louder. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to double it, and then I'm going to use a different texture for the second layer of it, but I'm going to double the notes. Because I just kind of, when I was listening to mono just now, I just kind of felt like it was empty at some of the parts of the song. So I want to fill that out while I'm in mono. And then once I switch back to stereo, it'll just sound delicious. Check this out. Check the difference of this without it, with it. It has a body now. That sound has a body now. And I can push the upper layer a little bit harder, and I can darken that synth layer a little bit, and then push it a little bit more so the mids are a little bit stronger. Or I'm not going to bring this in rather until this sound comes in. Because it's kind of like whiny almost, like it's, you know, it's a higher pitch noise. I don't really want that texture yet when I'm here, and these sounds don't really have that. A little bit more whistly. But because I don't have that sound yet, I'm going to automate this. And I'm just going to go back to kind of where I was earlier. Just so that it's a little smoother when it comes in. And I'm going to copy and paste that automation. Now let's listen in stereo. Hear that layer? Pretty cool so far. There are a couple of things that I noticed listening to that. I'm probably going to use a lot of jump cuts, so have fun with that. But there were a couple of things that I noticed. One of them is the clap was too quiet, and I think the re-space was too quiet. I think that could go up as well. And I think they could go up by about the same amount. That sounds better because now the claps are brighter than those synths, and the bass is kind of sitting where it should with the other melodic elements. At this point, to finish the arrangement, I could just leave it like this. Sometimes those short songs are really popular, and they do really well. Or I could add another hook, which I would need another verse, and so I could just do that. And then what I would do to keep the arrangement interesting, because otherwise it's just going to be the same thing, let's use Analog Lab again. And I'm just going to add this sound, playing one note. So I'm going to treat it like a drone. I think actually I lied to you. I'm going to do a little bit of kind of following the bass notes. And you can just barely hear that layer, right? Like it's kind of in the background. It's not really doing too much. That's because everything else is already full. I just want like a little bit more of that, like, you know, so that if someone's really paying attention and they're really immersed in that and they hear that texture, they're just like, delicious. It's not the same, but it's not enough for someone to be like, whoa, it's not the same. Actually, what I think I'm going to do, like, double time it for the hook so that it does sit a little better. I don't want it too busy during the hook. I kind of want these notes to take longer. Okay, let's listen. I think the clap is a little too loud. And that's the only thing I think I would change at this point. I'm going to listen to this last section. Sounds great. At this point, I'm done. I'm just gonna have fun now. I'm a passage to the left. I'm a passage to the left. Got that read up on my mind, and I roll on real tight. I don't like that shit to run, so you better like it right. Got a kush up on my back. Got a face up in my wife. Got a bond with till it's milky, baby, silky, baby, white. So they hit that shit, When you pass it to the left. Alright. Yeah! That was fun. Hope you enjoyed the beat. Hope you learned something, maybe. If you did, let me know in the comments. If you'd like to see more stuff like this, let me know in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and you like this kind of content. And hit the notification bell. It really helps the channel out. Alright, enjoy the beat. I'm going to let the whole thing play. Later.